All right, so we're now live on Facebook and we'll start officially.
Thanks for joining everybody today. I have had an amazing week, and I hope you have too. We have started this week to honor some veterans. And since I've had both of my sons come on board to help me, I can get a few more of those things done. But we did kind of decide at the last minute that we would let people know who were purchasing a WAVwatch that we would be donating up to 100 WAVwatches this weekend. And so we got that done. Now we have 100 watches to donate. And we would like maybe your opinion, or maybe if you could nominate somebody that you would like us to donate a watch to. We would be definitely open to that. We do have a couple of organizations that we have reached out to, and we would definitely take some input from you. So here's what I had fun with this week. I'm going to show that to you to start with. I hope you can hear these. They may be just a little soft, but we'll just go ahead and get started with that. Can you see you see that, JR?
No, make sure when you share, you have the check boxes for share audio and video on the sharing screen options. If you're sharing the YouTube videos, I can share those if that's helpful.
Okay, so I did it wrong. Isn't that just like me? Sorry about that.
So are you planning to share the YouTube videos or something else?
Yeah, just mine. Okay, so now I got it.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yep, now we see you.
Okay, now do I have it right?
Young lady at Walmart. I would put my arms around a strange woman, didn't even know her name. My name is Captain Willie Francis. I'm a retired Air Force officer of 27 years. I was in a Humvee accident in Iraq, my third tour, and strap middle got in my chest. I had an open heart surgery, and I had a stroke 2007. She told me about this amazing watch. I'm willing to try, and then part two, if it works, I'll come back and do another video.
So the WAVwatch in honor of all veterans. Thanks, Willie, for trying it.
Thank you.
So I should have set that one up a little bit. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but the story would be great to hear.
Yes. So I just happened to be in Walmart, and I walked up behind this gentleman, and I'm not sure. I thought I was nudged by God because I just was brave enough to go up behind this gentleman, Willie, who I later found out his name. And I just, touched his arm, and I said, "Are you a veteran?" And he said, "Well, yes. How did you know?" And we started talking. And as a result of him telling me about his stroke and problems with his health, I immediately offered to give him a WAVwatch. And we were just 3 or 4 blocks from my office. So he came to my office, and that's where we made this video. But as he was leaving, he said, "Now, how did you know I was a veteran?" And I did say, well, God kind of nudged me. And he goes, "Well, that's amazing because I'm a pastor and God told me to pay attention to you." So I thought that was
so
very,
cool.
very, very neat. So this is what we're looking for. You all have probably met somebody or have somebody in your family, and we do have 100 watches to give away, and I wish we could give away more, but we're going to start there. So I've got one more video to share with you. And this is another one in my office. This gentleman brought his niece in for a thermogram in my Bras thermography office. And of course, I had to talk to him because I read his cap. And guess what? He was a veteran too. So
Is because this morning I did a webinar to honor veterans. And I had 2 young men on giving their testimony of how the WAVwatch had helped them. Oh. And here you walk into my office and I want to give you a WAVwatch. I hear you have neuropathy. Yes. So I'm going to show you how to set it on neuropathy. Okay. And you've got a few minutes while you're sitting here, and see, you're crying, and so am I.
So anyway, I hope you enjoyed both of those because I enjoyed so much being able to share with them some hope and some real testimonies from people and changes. And it was very amazing to see their eyes light up because they have gone through a lot. And sometimes it's hard for them to get into the VA and long list of medications or whatever their situation is. Everybody has a different situation. But if you're interested, again, we will be trying to email something out, I think. Is that what we decided to do, Joseph?
Is because
I'm actually creating a survey right now that I'll drop in here in the chat. So if you guys have a veteran you want to nominate to get a free watch, and then we'll also email that out to the whole WAVwatch family.
Okay, but we just will need of course, the name and their email address and their address and telephone number to be able to do that. And then make sure that we know your name, that it's obvious what your name is, so that we know that you've nominated them for this WAVwatch. So just continue a little bit today. I'd like to talk about skin restoration. And so this is being, videoed. Obviously, it's live on Facebook and will be there so that you can review it later or share it with somebody else. We also have Rumble and we have YouTube videos. And then don't forget to go to WAVwatch.com once in a while. And I know you've seen this before, but not everybody has. We have different people on each time. So we have thousands of targeted frequencies. Literally, I have labeled 1,000 frequencies. And then inside most of those frequencies, there are up to 30 different combinations of frequencies. Now, the only ones that would be different would be the emotional frequencies. They are usually just one frequency, and that makes them very hard to hear. Sometimes people will say, oh, I think my watch is broken. I can't hear these frequencies. But it is just the fact that there's one frequency. And again, that is the emotional frequencies, the solfeggio frequencies, the frequencies in that category all just have one frequency and are very hard to hear. But you can check your watch really easy by just playing, something in a different category. And if you can hear different bing, bing, different sounds like that, then you'll realize that it is definitely working. Okay, so other things about the watch, there's no cords or wires or patches, no internet connectivity. It's easy to change and vary as variants occur. And it's useful for all ages, even animals. So I have so much fun with stories about animals. And I'm not sure if very many of you were on, but I have posted a picture of a duck. Somebody sent me a duck that they used the WAVwatch on for a bacterial infection. And they did send me the picture of the duck just kind of leaning over somebody's hand. And, they had a cover over their WAVwatch and the duck was just glued to the watch, basically. And then what I wished we had a picture of was the scene in the chicken yard. They were evidently out in the chicken house, and they said the chickens just kind of made a half circle around and just kind of stood and watched really quietly, which is very unusual for chickens. So frequencies can change the lives of animals too. So today we're jumping into looking at skin restoration. And what I want you to know is that there are so many new tools out there. And they said that a plethora kind of developed during the COVID problem that we've had around the world for the last couple of years. People were not going to spas and things maybe as much. And so it tended to be that more tools came out during this time period. So there's a new one out there that's called a Selector, if I'm saying that right, and it's acoustic wave therapy. And there is a study on it showing that it improves skin texture and laxity. So I thought that was very interesting because that's what the WAVwatch is. It is acoustical frequencies. Now, there are a lot of tools out there that are radio wave frequencies or, light wave frequencies, all kinds of things. But this is the one that was the closest, to what we're looking at today on the WAVwatch. So here's a little bit more about this study because, again, we're tying it in. I can't make any promises from the WAVwatch. I haven't done a double-blind study on 1,000 ideas. There's no way I could get that done. But we can kind of relate back to other tools that use acoustical therapy and see if we could draw from those ideas. So with this study, which was published in Lasers in Surgery and Medicine, July of 21, they are saying that acoustic wave therapy non-invasively improves skin texture, clarity, and laxity. So I thought that was a great tie-in for what we're talking about today. Then to get just a little bit closer in, to show you that they really did have some studies on this. 333 patients were worked with in an aesthetic clinic and using the acoustical wave device. And they are saying that digital photographs revealed improvements in skin texture. They superimposed three-dimensional color images, and they showed marked volumetric reduction and even modification for the contour, even towards the lower mid-face. So I hope that makes enough sense for you to say it was a study that was done using acoustics. And that's what we're talking about today, is how could we use the WAVwatch for possibly a similar idea? Now, I think I read that this was a $3,000 treatment, but don't quote me on that. I looked at a whole bunch of ideas. So, and I see I didn't put the cost of it in here. But as we, go forward, we'll be noticing and looking at prices and things for other tools, because maybe you're looking at those, or maybe you're deciding, I'm going to use the WAVwatch and try it first. So these were some other ideas that they gleaned from the study. And they said that acoustic waves produce a variety of reactions through the shear and pressure forces that they produce. So there was a release of nitric oxide, there was increased cell permeability and blood and lymph microcirculation. There was a release of growth factors. There was a proliferation of collagen and elastin fibers, and there was lipolysis. So very important information that we can glean from a tool using acoustics. And one more thing, I don't want to bore you too much, but I want to let you know that there's so much out there. I did find another article, and it was in Cosmopolitan, and it was labeled the 20 best skincare tools and devices. And they tested and narrowed it down to 20. So can you imagine how many devices are up there? And they're saying these techie upgrades, your at-home I guess they upgrade your at-home beauty routine. So they had it divided into categories. And if you go to Cosmopolitan and look for this, you'll find that they've got tools in these areas, and they range from $2,695 down to $55 for more, just a skin rejuvenation kit. So these are worthy of people looking at. But if you already have the WAVwatch, you have a starting point, and then you might see if you want to go on to something different, or if you're satisfied with this. So this is another idea that I showed last week, and I just kind of wanted to put it up there also, because now there's getting to be hundreds of other devices, and you might want to be aware of what they really do. And so like the one in the middle, motion sickness, just has a couple of frequencies for motion sickness. And it's priced at $199. And the WAVwatch has motion sickness on it, plus 999 other frequencies. So you want to, kind of learn and compare and know what you're getting before you buy too many tech tools. Another one that I thought was really unusual was for cramps, and you can see how you have to wear that, and it's $149. And of course, the WAVwatch has frequencies for cramps and 999 other frequencies. So I think you got the idea. But it's the same type of thing with this article here. If you go to look at some of these, you'll want to be very open so that you know what you're getting. You know, is it does it work with frequencies? Is it radio wave frequencies? Is it acoustical? You know, what are you getting? So just a few little ideas there. Don't forget the reason that I am enamored with acoustical frequencies is because they go through your body so fast. So Bruce Lipton, who is a famous physicist and has written several books, says that information can be carried by chemistry or by vibration. And he explains that chemical reactions transfer about 2% of information because our body heat burns up 98% of those chemical reactions, where a vibration from a sound goes through 100%. And as you know, sound travels at 186,000 miles a second. And then when it goes through fluids, it goes much, much faster. And so several calculations are saying that waves and vibrations go through our body at 4.3 times the speed of sound versus a chemical that goes through at about a foot a second. And so don't forget, my main point here is that's why we have to take different prescriptions and over-the-counter meds, and I'm sorry, even our supplements and things like that. We have to take those all the time because not all of them are absorbed. Only about 2% are absorbed. So I'm finally to my topic here today, I guess a little bit, but skin restoration, this category is on the watches. And I think I've already made a mistake. I think I said they were on the 1,000 frequency watches, but they're not. They're on the 870 frequency watches too. So my apologies on that. But basically we have a category for bruises, cell restoration, elastin restoration, regeneration and healing, RNA and DNA restoration, skin collagen restoration, and tissue restoration. So these are the categories. And my suggestion to you, I don't know if I've got something on top of it here, but set these on a loop and play them all day long or all night long. These are things that can play for a longer period. Now, if you do have the new 1,000 frequency watch, then you can play those ideas over and over again on a loop. If you do not have the newest watch, you will have to pick one and play it for a couple of hours and then switch to the other one and play for a couple of hours. Or you could play through all of them and then it would shut off. Those type of ideas. So the newer watch gives you just a little bit more length of time to play through something in an easier stage. So I really like that loop that will play all day long and it will loop the whole folder over and over again. So I think it's kind of important to kind of break down some of these ideas, and I don't want to spend too much time, but I think bruises is one of the easiest ones. I put that one in there because that's something that we can see. I could easily have put bruises in another category with skin, problems, skin irritations. But this way, if you're, using this category and you do have trouble with bruises, you might be able to see a difference, because sometimes we're not going to see difference in elastin or collagen. We may not know, but this is what bruises look like. I thought this was an easy little chart. So sometimes bruises can last up to 14 days. And many testimonies from people using the WAVwatch on bruises, they're going 10 to 14 days. No way. It just cleared up right away, just in days, and they've set up many different ways. But that way you kind of have a gauge. If you're somebody that's bruised themselves and the WAVwatch does help with that, you are hoping that those other ideas for tissue restoration and whatnot will be working also. Much harder to see and to figure out. So here's another one. And I think this is where I learned the most this time. I always learn something every time. But elastin, of course, is a protein in our body, and it's very stretchy. It's like a rubber band. It shrinks and it comes back. But I think what I really, keyed in on when I think about elastin is all of the places that we need it, like our lungs, our bladder, the large blood vessels, and ligaments need this elastin. And actually, it's in smaller amounts in our skin and our ears. So, huge idea here. You might want to take the elastin frequency, that's right here, elastin restoration, and you might want to put that in some other categories if you have a playlist, because if you're having lung trouble, the elastin would help your lungs a little bit better. If you're having bladder trouble, blood vessel problems, that might be something that you could use in a different way. And of course, I have tried to put different categories and like I put inflammation, pain, and trauma in several different categories, but I can't do it too much because it takes up too much time. We have to just kind of move it around just a little bit. So if you're having heart problem, the arteries, elastin gives your arteries stretchy characteristics that make it easier for you to pump blood, for your heart to pump blood. And of course, I've already mentioned the lung idea, but when your lungs contract and move in and out, you are using that elastin. And the elastin is 1,000 times stretchier than collagen. Now, to me, we've had collagen emphasized over and over and over again, and some of us are more aware of that. And like I mentioned, I had certainly forgotten the importance of the elastin for other areas that it works in our body, just not our skin. Now, these are some other ideas that you could use, and I got these off of, Cleveland Clinic, but they are saying that aloe vera, green tea, and ginseng and all kinds of supplements may increase the elastin in your skin. Now, all kinds of vitamin A helps your skin, and obviously the foods that contain those vitamin A derivatives and vitamin A are really good for our elastin. Then just one idea that popped up, so I went ahead and put it here. If you're not using some of these natural ideas and you go to a doctor, they may not decide to do some skin resurfacing, and they take a tiny needle and heat it up and they poke you all over on your skin. And that creates an irritation to your skin, obviously. And then when your skin heals, it produces more collagen and elastin. So the medical community has a lot of tricks up their sleeve, and that might be one that you have done already or you might want to know about. But again, we can eat different foods. We can take more vitamin A. We can try the WAVwatch. And then we have many different ideas from the medical community. And these are really proliferating, like I mentioned earlier. Lots of things for our skin. This is a huge area for many kinds of businesses. So there were other kinds of treatments for elastin too that I was just amazed about. And I kind of mentioned a couple of these. But the supplements, all kinds. In fact, I got out my Dr. Axe supplement this morning when I thought about it for collagen. And it's a bone broth, but it does have cocoa and chocolate in it. And you'll see that I have cocoa flavanols highlighted here because that one was one that was really exciting to me. I love chocolate, and I don't guess I knew that it was good for elastin. So now I know I have another reason why my chocolate is good for me, as long as it is the 90% chocolate. Witch hazel's also very good. They even say hormone replacement therapy can help with elastin. and the genistein isoflavones is more a soy product, and hyaluronic, sorry, I didn't say that right. Hyaluronic acid is also something very good. And they have that in many skin treatments, many, lotions and potions and all kinds of things. So we can buy to our heart's content things to put on our skin. Then the opposite column shows us some things that we might, look at in the medical or the spa industry, all kinds of laser treatments. There's a medical cream, expanthanol. There are chemical peels. There's the dermabrasion. And then there's also platelet-rich plasma injections. So that's why I was really thrilled to be able to find some specific things that I could put together on the WAVwatch that might also complement our skincare routine. Very important that we just try it once in a while. It would be something that you might want to put on your playlist and play, over and over again, or at least play once a week, or, your choice. I know I played a lot of things this week and I didn't have time for the skin ones. So they were kind of at the bottom of my list of things that I needed to be doing this week. But you have it there, and you have it with you wherever you go. So you could play it if you're driving home, or, if you're somewhere else and, something just pops into your mind. It's easy to use. It's not like you had to take a bottle along with you, or you forgot to take your bottle, for your hyaluronic acid, that kind of thing. So very easy. We also have a whole category for RNA and DNA restoration. And you can see that this could be put into many categories or on your playlist so that it could be played more than once. So these are large molecules. They're the basis of life. These are, they carry information to the cells, and they store the genetic material. And so it's very important that when these divide and the protein synthesis is going on, that everything is working correctly and that the correct signals are in your body. So I think the DNA and RNA restoration is a really good frequency set to add to some of the things that you might be doing. Now, some of you may have found these frequencies already, but some of you might not have realized that they are in the restoration folder under skin. So we have RNA and DNA restoration. Now, I've kind of talked about collagen a little bit in connection with the elastin, but just a little bit more information and why we want to be playing this more. It is in the skin category, but they have to identify 29 types of collagen. So there's 5 major types of collagen, and they do have them labeled here. So this is what I could find. And I got this from WebMD. So this was very important too. So we need collagen for our skin and our bones and our ligaments and our tendons. And I am sorry, I don't know if there's a particular type that this frequency set is working with more than others. Usually when something is labeled, it's just a multi-purpose type frequency that could work on many different ideas inside that collagen idea. So it also might help with the type 2, which is for your joints. It might be helpful for blood vessels and muscles. But again, it wasn't labeled that way, so I'm not saying positively that it is. I'm just saying it was labeled collagen restoration. And I put it in the skin category. So anyway, some layers of our skin. And then obviously we have collagen in our hair and our corneas too. So all over our body, collagen is huge. And I think most of us have been looking at different foods to eat for collagen. We hear that it's kind of been ingrained. Like I mentioned, collagen is a lot more known about than elastin. And bone broth tends to be the major idea that people do know about for collagen. There's all kinds of places to get it, though, besides bone broth. Sometimes we miss out on the nuts or the bell peppers. The eggs, even some people are allergic to eggs. So in that case, they're going to have to use some of these other sources. But if we're eating a good diet, which should include some eggs, chicken, bell peppers, all of these ideas, hopefully you are going to be getting enough collagen. I know that does change as we age, but try to get most of these into your system and be eating as good as you can. And of course, you're going to, stay away from the smoking if you can. Those are really, the smoking does really wear down the collagen and the elastin. Okay.
Do you have
Just
time for a few questions?
yes, maybe this is a perfect time. I don't want
Yeah,
to drone
just
on too much.
no, I didn't want to interrupt. You got some great stuff here. A few related questions. Kim had asked about skin irritations like moles and or skin tags for the watch. Are there frequencies for that? I
Yes,
see.
there are. And I have a slide, and I did a whole hour presentation on skin irritations and
Hmm,
skin problems. And I did that, it looked like February 21st,
okay.
and so that should be on the one of the 70 some ideas on that. And I do have a slide here in just a minute of those choices, but they would be in self-care and skin irritations. And there is one for moles. And in fact, funny you would say that. That's what I was working on this week. Was moles. I ran moles all night long. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So, and similar one, Jerry had asked about cysts, and his question was if there were any testimonies. I know we do have frequencies for cysts, but maybe we could ask if you know of any testimonies, or if anybody on the webinar knows of any testimonies of cysts going away.
Yes. And I have a testimony coming up for cysts. So, yep. I think I have it on this presentation.
Okay.
So, and yes, it is in the self-care category under cysts. And this person had one up, in this area here. And I have already had a couple of testimonies on knee cysts. They had the popliteal cysts that are on the knees, and those evidently improved.
Wow.
So,
A couple generic questions. One was about how long you should play a frequency, any rule of, or, anything like that. So,
okay. So you'll notice that some of the frequencies are 8 minutes, and that just means that that frequency is just what it says it is. If it is a combo, like somebody asked earlier, it is a combination of frequencies, and those can be 30 minutes or 35 minutes. So depending on what it is, I learned as I developed my product which frequencies to combine. So one of my favorites and dear to my heart is breast problems, because that's what I specialize in. And I learned that if I just played breast lump for somebody, that we didn't get as good a reaction or change unless I added lymph detox and liver detox and inflammation, pain, and trauma. So I added those and looped those all together to make a longer frequency set. And I have done that also for quite a few of the joint ideas. And so that's what the differences are on the length of time that you might see on the watch. Then, if the question is, how long should we play them? These are acoustical frequencies, and you can hear sound all day long. Now, you might think, though, well, would I want to hear the same thing 24 hours a day? That's kind of a hard one. So I say, rotate it a little bit, but it doesn't mean that it's going to hurt you if you've played it for a longer period of time. I have had a couple of people that said they might have played something digestive and they thought it irritated them. But normally, people can play those for longer periods of time. Or if you just have an hour and that's all you want, that works also. So
All right.
everybody is available or is, you know, equal to set it the length of time that they want to play it or the length of time that they have, you know, maybe before they go to an activity where they have to take the watch off because they're going to get it wet, you know.
Mhm.
So it just depends on somebody's schedule during the day.
Yeah, great. That's helpful. A couple other questions. Rose had asked, where can we get definitions of some of the frequencies that have strange, uncommon, or technical names?
Well, I had to use those to differentiate those. So I would just Google and just say,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if she has an example, you know, but just
Yeah.
Google it, you know. So like there's one in mussels, myasthenia gravis, I think is one. And I probably wouldn't have known to put that on there, except somebody called and asked me if I could put it on the watch. And it is for a muscle problem, you know, and that's why it's in the muscle category. So just Google.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can also work on maybe a resource to help people with that. But would love to, yeah. And also Valerie had asked about her thumb is clicking from gardening from using your clippers. I know that feeling when you're gardening and pruning. What is that and what setting would be best?
Well, you know, the elastin and the collagen ones that we just talked about could be helpful. And then you could also do joints and go to the joint folder. There's joint support, and there is another one for joint diseases, you know, that kind of
Okay,
thing.
so
You
joint
might
support.
also
Yeah.
even be thinking about, you know, problems with your hands and your nerves. That would be very helpful. And I just lost what I was, the one I was thinking of. Oh, carpal tunnel. You know, you might
Mhm.
even try carpal tunnel, which would be similar, you know, when your thumbs and your wrist starts to have problems. So you might think outside the box for a couple of ideas on that one.
Yep. And all right, last question. I'll let you get back to your presentation. And somebody actually in the chat said try tendonitis. Great,
Oh,
great
thank
point.
you. See,
Yeah.
perfect.
Thanks, Lynn. Last one, less related to skin, but maybe related to elastin was the heart murmur. If you have a heart murmur, can you use the heart frequencies? Kim, was asking this question.
Well, definitely. That's what those are for. And I was kind of apologizing a couple times today, saying I had really forgotten that elastin would be helpful for your heart. You know,
Mhm.
very interesting, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
and then we need those B vitamins for our heart also, you know, for those tissues. So, we need to work with a variety of things, sometimes for one idea like the heart. So, yes, there are definitely ideas on the heart that would be helpful for a heart murmur.
All right. And one more comment on back on the thumb clicking. Vienna says she's a massage therapist. When her thumb clicks, it is related to muscle tension. So it could also be muscle. So she uses that. Thanks,
So
Vienna.
you could go to the muscle folder. Perfect.
All right.
Isn't
Thanks,
it great to
everybody.
have feedback? I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know that, you know, I have just a little bit more, but tissue regeneration is also another choice. And again, I would just run it in that loop with all of the ideas that are in skin restoration. And so, you know, we are replacing skin cells every minute of the day. Basically, our body is so amazing, you know. And so as we age, it does change. So normally exfoliation, dropping off of dead cells and replenishing of new ones is about a 28-day cycle. But as we age, it can get up to 84 days or maybe even longer. So our cells take a little bit longer to replenish and to regrow, and there may not quite be as fresh and new looking. But so skin and, or excuse me, tissue regeneration, that's what that one is made for. Now, if you are interested in some of the other ideas, which we were asked about on the questions, with some of your skin problems in general, start with inflammation, pain, and trauma. That's always a good one for anything. But if you have specific skin irritations, we have these. So you can go to skin, and we have all kinds of ideas for skin. And I've had testimonies on the dermatitis, the eczema, the pemphigus, I think even the psoriasis. So use these if you know exactly what kind you have been diagnosed with. You could go to that, but it's not going to hurt you to play some of the other ideas also, because there might be a frequency in one of the other similar skin ideas that could be helpful. And then this is the other folder that we have on self-care, and this is for skin irritations. And so that covers the acne, itching, athlete's foot, the lipomas. That's what somebody was asking about too. Moles, vitiligo. Sometimes I say the pronunciation wrong. I apologize.
no.
And then a warts combo. So those would all be ideas for, definite skin irritations. Now I could have put bruises in there, but I did put them in with the skin, more so that you can see, hopefully, restoration and knowing that changes are happening behind the scenes. So let me show you, somebody asked for a testimony. This is what dermatitis looks like. And it really is so interesting. If you think you have an idea or a problem, to use our Google. That's one of the better things for the internet today, is to show you some pictures, and you can kind of narrow down and look at some options that way. Maybe make better appointments to go to your doctor because you have been educated a little bit about what something could be that you might have. So this is a picture of dermatitis. And if you've got a skin irritation, you could say, oh, I wonder if it's dermatitis. Look up these images and learn about that. So I also have pictures of psoriasis and eczema. Now, these are a few quick images from another hour-long presentation that I've given. But these are pretty interesting. And one person said that her psoriasis had changed color from bright red to white within about a 30-minute time period. And I don't have that testimony on at all. I think I had it after I got this. So this is another strange skin infection. It's kind of like little streaks. Appear in clusters or lines. So this is just showing you some pictures of those. And here's another one, lichen sclerosus. Pemphigus. And again, I'm not going over them because I have an hour-long presentation on these, but we have so many trouble and problems with our skin. So it's not going to hurt to go through everything in this folder, plus the skin restoration folder. And athlete's foot. And then these are the lipomas that we mentioned, and the cysts that somebody asks about. So we have two categories. We have the phrase lipoma, or we also have cysts, and you could play either of those, or both. I would play all of them, actually. And then here's my testimony. Yeah, go ahead.
We did have a question on another kind of cyst, seborrhea. I've never heard of that.
I don't have that one specifically mentioned on there. Am I wrong in saying that is something more related to more an acne type skin?
Okay.
Does anybody know on that, or could look that up?
Yeah, I'll look that up.
I think that is an irritation more related to acne, but don't quote me on that. I am not a medical doctor or a skin specialist. So this is my testimony. The lipoma that she had up here on above her collarbone really melted away. And she had it for 25 years or so. Now, I haven't kept in touch with her. I don't know if it stayed gone, and she didn't buy the WAVwatch. So I do not know if it came back, but most people, if they have the WAVwatch and something comes back, they know just to play it again for a longer period of time. So that might be kind of helpful there. So anyway, I knew I had these pictures and some people were asking about them. So the skin is a pretty large category, but it is in different folders. So skin irritations, you would go to self-care, and then the skin restoration is inside the skin, which is in organs. So, all right. A little bit of information about whether something's a mole or a melanoma. Don't forget, it's irregular. Color can vary. In one mole, it can be very unusual. They're usually larger and they change quite a bit.
Oh, yes, we did have somebody asking about skin cancer or melanoma. Are there any frequencies on the watch to try for this?
I do not have one for melanoma that I could find. Definitely do not have one for that. But what I would go to if you are worried about any type of cancer is the icon that is labeled pathogens. Remember that so many kinds of cancer are from specific parasites, viruses, bacteria, and I covered those in that particular folder right there. I'm not saying it's covering the melanoma, but I'm just saying the question was asked about cancer. And so that would be a definite idea there to go to that particular folder. And I was just listening to a presentation last night on using ivermectin and fenbendazole for parasites and for cancer. And I have it covered on the WAVwatch in a similar way with frequencies. So there are complete folders for parasites, and then there is the pathogen folder for a variety of pathogens that cause cancer. Okay, so I don't want to talk too much about that. And then I don't know if anyone had seen some of these ideas. I do not know if this frequency would help anybody who has this skin condition. But this person is an actress and really stepping out with her skin problem. And I think that's just amazing. Okay. So don't forget, and anytime you're having problems with your skin, plaque liver, the emotions are unbelievable, yeast, parasites, bacteria, and detox. So that's more on the skin irritations and the skin problems. I would also add the skin restoration to your system now and play that on a long loop as long as you can. So I'm kind of closing up today. Don't have any more information unless somebody has a particular question.
Awesome. We do have a few questions. I know you had mentioned in February that there was another recording on skin tags or skin irritations, but Kim had asked about, she said just wanted to get clarity on skin tags. She sees moles, but not skin tags. Would that work, or are there other frequencies to try for skin tags?
I think that's all there is, the moles and just those categories with skin.
Okay. And I would recommend that. Oh, Kim was on that presentation as well. All right.
There you go.
So one thing we could do, oh, one other question Trina had asked, is there a setting for hyperpigmentation?
There is not.
Any other things that she could try? I don't know about that. I don't know that condition.
No, I would just go through some of the really specific skin problems that I do have there. And then the skin restoration, the one that we talked about today, because that's working with RNA, DNA, it's working with tissue, that kind of thing.
All right. And so that skin restoration folder is under the organs. Is that where that is?
Organs, yes.
Yeah. So organs, skin restoration. That's a great folder. And several people saying thank you. We do have a few people that have raised their hands. So we have about almost 10 minutes left for Q&A. So we can go over to that. If you can flip me back to the host, Linda, then I can also do a few things. I can allow people to join with their video to ask a question.
How do I make you the host again?
No problem. You just click on participants and panelists,
okay.
And then click me. And then I will.
There you go.
All right. So one thing we can do quickly as well is I will see if, yes, I'm going to send a message to everyone. And this is earlier, while you guys are coming up with any questions, we had talked about a survey, which is if you want to nominate a veteran to get a WAVwatch. So I created that, and like Linda said, you'll just put in your name and email so we know who you are, and then the information about the veteran you have, their name, email, phone number, address if you have it. And yeah, and we will figure out a process to decide which veterans will get a WAVwatch, and would love your help with that. And
And if
looks
you
like
have any videos, if you'd like to,
Mhm.
anything like that to share, or if you know that that veteran, if we were able to send them a WAVwatch, a video would be lovely, or a testimony, if you can keep in touch with that person that you nominated.
Yep. So let's see if we have any. I don't see any Q&A questions. I do see a few people have raised their hand. Eli, I know you had asked a question in the chat. Do you have another question? I'll just put you on the spot here if you wanted to talk. And then we also have, go ahead, Eli.
To unmute.
Maybe not.
Okay.
And then another iPhone user without a name. iPhone, did you have a question that we could answer at this time?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you
Yes.
now.
Oh, okay. I'm Celia. My husband is Eli. I had a
Oh,
question about the hives.
yes, you had a question about hives. I answered that, but yeah, no, that would be a great time. I had found the hives frequency in a folder. Are there any other ideas for hives, Linda?
Again, the folder they are in is under allergies, or and there might be something that you could do in the skin restoration folders. I don't have any feedback on that, or I would also run the immune support, because if you've gotten hives, you've gotten allergic to something a little bit
Yeah.
more. And so run the immune support folder. There's quite a few ideas in there.
Immune
Okay,
support.
thanks. Thank you
That's
so much.
That's a great idea. All right, thanks. And we also had an iPhone number without a name. Did you still have a question we could answer? All right. While we're waiting for them, I see Rob Howell's got a question. Rob, you're up to talk if you want.
Yeah, I'm trying to download I click on the forms link and it says need permission to access it.
Oh, thank you. That is so good. I thought I had opened that up to everyone, but I will fix that right away. So thanks, Rob. Let me fix that and then you guys can try it. All right, any other questions?
I should announce that today, or excuse me, that we're finishing up our webinar today. And then next Wednesday, we will not have a webinar. It's pre-Thanksgiving and lots of families are visiting and traveling. So no webinar next week, but then we'll be back on schedule the week after that. So.
Oh, that was perfect. I was going to ask about that. And Rob, I just fixed that. Would you refresh and try that form again for me? Thank you for letting me know, by the way. And I think, Deborah, I see you have your hand raised. Did we already have you on at the beginning? I think we did. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions, and I think our survey is fixed. So please check that out. It's in the chat. We will also be emailing that out to everyone, but that is the form to nominate a veteran. So that's under the chat box here with a link. And oh, wow, we have several more questions I missed while we were working on that. So Lene Atkinson had asked, does a WAVwatch come with a lookup sheet for issues? Yes, there is a booklet that comes with it, but I'm also going to, yeah, that comes with every WAVwatch. I'm also going to paste in this chat the digital version, which is nice if you're on a computer and you want to type in something, you can find it pretty easy. Donna had asked about a frequency for EMF. Do you have some ideas on that, Linda?
Yes, the frequencies for EMFs are in the detox folder, and also EMF and then radiation. So 2 ideas in the detox folder. And I've had several comments on people saying, oh, they can sleep so much better, or their anxiousness or anxiety goes away when they play that detox for EMFs. So that's a good
Yeah.
one.
And
And
then,
it is a one that's hard to hear, I believe, also.
yeah. And then Jean had asked, she knows a young person that has inflammatory breast cancer. She's trying to get her to buy the watch. Which folders would be good for her to use?
There's a complete folder for breast ideas, and there specifically is the pathogen folder. And I would play that. And then I would run through all of the parasites and viruses and everything that you can for different kinds of germs that are being discovered every day now, how some different germ causes another problem in our body.
Yeah. And somebody had asked in the chat, how do you play the whole folder? And I think you know the answer, but on your 3rd page or 4th page of your handbook, there are different icons that show how to play that. Yeah, and so it's going to be the last one, is that right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so you have arrows all around.
So now that would have to be on the latest WAVwatch with 1,000 frequencies. If you have an earlier WAVwatch, it does not do that loop for the whole folder. We couldn't get it developed, but we finally made it, finally got it to work, and it is really helpful.
All right, just 1 or 2 more questions. Jerry had asked about bones. Is that bone spurs, Jerry? I'm not sure. He said for bones in the face protruding. I'm not sure if that's a structural or a bone thing. Do we have anything for bone spurs, Linda?
We do. It's in bones. And there's one just labeled bone spurs.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So a lot of those ideas under bones might be good, if you're having a problem.
All right.
That's what I was running this week. I ran out of time. I was running moles and bone spurs. And I didn't get my skin restoration one done. And I ran detox a lot. So hopefully you have your tool with you so that you can use it more than once during the day.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I think we've got everything. And Kim said, Happy Thanksgiving. So
Perfect.
Want to wish you all happy Thanksgiving. We're grateful for you, for your support. And just a heads up, just a little teaser. We haven't announced it yet officially, but we will be doing an offer for those of you that want to buy multiple WAVwatches for friends or family. Little added bonus or something free coming up. So watch out for that, and we'll let you know
on the
more soon.
website. Yes.
All right.
Holiday special. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks
everybody
for joining today.